So, to continue our E3 coverage, this morning there was the Nintendo Direct, right?
Yeah, there's a Nintendo Direct presentation to show off all their stuff as an alternative to a full-blown conference.
And, just in general, what was your thoughts on it?
Generally, I thought that they showed people what they needed to show them in order for them to gain, a little bit more faith in the system. I think that I was expecting too much of them, and that's why I personally thought there was just a little shy of what I was personally expecting out of that Nintendo Direct. It was only about it was under 45 minutes long.
Yeah.
So it was a little shallow. In my opinion, but they showed some great stuff. They showed games.
They did show game after game after game after game.
They had game after game. They, did somewhat of a montage of what's to come. For the third party stuff and the indie stuff. And they said, that's not all they have, so don't write them off yet. And they showed those big name titles that have me more excited for those particularly than almost any other game at E3 this year. So I think they did a good job. Yeah, I think they did a good job. It's not my favorite, but they showed me a lot of what I wanted to see. So I'm happy with it overall.
I think they showed enough, but I wish they would have talked more about the games or talked more about stuff that they didn't show.
Yeah.
We all know that they're making another Zelda game besides the Wind Waker remake.
Yeah.
But I would have liked for them to at least, talk about it somewhat.
Yeah.
Just show, a concept art thing. Because, they did, even with Skyward Sword, they did that. They just showed the concept art.
Yeah.
And they were like, new Zelda, and they just showed the one picture, and they were like, hey, now you guys can all cry about it.
Yeah, now you can all shut up and stop emailing me. That's all they really needed to do for so many things. They literally could have said, hey, we're making a new Metroid, and then actually been lying and not working on a new Metroid. But that still would have tied people over because people hang on the every word of Nintendo. And so when they say, all they really have to do is just put out a statement or say something, and that alone is enough for many people. When it comes to the Super Smash Bros. Thing and, a lot of different things that they showed, a lot of franchises that they have had people, just, hungering after for a long time, all they really have to do is say, hey, we're making it. It'll get there eventually.
Yeah, didn't they do that with Kid Icarus?
For the 3DS?
Yeah, they were just like, oh, we're making another Kid Icarus game, and then they didn't show it for a year.
Yeah, they showed it at the 3DS thing like it was going to be a launch title, you know what I mean? And I was still, the Kid Icarus Uprising, still probably my favorite portable game to date, to be honest with you. It's that's top 3 for me. I really enjoyed that game. I thought the writing and everything in the gameplay was just top notch.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. I personally can't wait for a Wii U Kid Icarus game because they kind of know now what they can make a Kid Icarus game because of what Uprising held. Sakurai did say that he's not going to be doing another one. However, Miyamoto can be really persuasive when he owns you. So it's
I feel like they'd still kind of stick it to a 3DS franchise though. Just because the levels are just quick levels and it just works more on a handheld, something that you can just pick up and play for 10-15 minutes.
I agree. That being said, because you kind of sense that eager and giddiness about the whole company, or at least the company heads, when it comes to the rebooting or the putting their main franchises into HD. You know what I mean? You kind of realize that they're actually that's why they started off with some of their biggest guns. Well, back in the day, what were their biggest guns? You know, like Retro, for example, working on Donkey Kong. I don't know if you listed that, but
yeah, I do.
That is not what people were expecting. People were saying we were really counting on a Metroid or a Star Fox game.
Yeah, I mean, as we talked about earlier, I'm not a big fan of the Donkey Kong series. I don't know that many big fans of the Donkey Kong series.
They're out there, apparently.
Yeah, they obviously sell enough to make sequels, and it's definitely a series that's been going on for a long-ass time.
Yeah.
But I've never really met anybody who's like a die-hard Donkey Kong Country fan. I don't know of a single one.
I know a few people who are really diehard on Donkey Kong Country. I like it. I've just never gotten to play too much of it. You know what I mean? I'll probably get around to Donkey Kong Country Returns at some point. But the what is it called? What's the new one called? I know it's Donkey Kong Country Returns Frozen something.
Tropical Freeze.
Tropical Freeze, yeah. Wow, Frozen. Anyways, Tropical Freeze. It looks good. It's definitely looks a lot more dynamic than any of the other ones that I've seen. I will probably pick it up without a doubt. It's just like, if any, I think they kind of need to focus more on their 3D world games, if that makes sense. Like a Donkey Kong.
They keep doing all these 2D games that are not bad games.
Not at all, but yeah,
like they keep bringing out 2D Marios and 2D Donkey Kongs, and people want those more hardcore titles.
Yeah. It's just, those 2D, and for example, if they would some people were saying that they were thinking that they might do another Kirby's, Return to Dreamland or something like that, which is obviously going to happen eventually. But like even Kirby, I feel like it's time for everybody to kind of go a bit more into, a 3D spectrum. Speaking of 3D, Mario's 3D World.
Yeah, Super Mario 3D World.
Super Mario 3D World.
Cat Mario.
Cat Mario.
So hyped for Cat Mario.
So hyped for Cat Mario. I think it looks great. I'm definitely gonna get it, no doubt. No, there's no ifs, ands, and buts about that. But I really was thinking it was gonna be a bit more like Mario 64 or Mario Galaxy, as opposed to Mario 3D Land for the 3DS. But it's still, it has Cat Mario.
It has Cat Mario. That's it's gonna be good.
And multiplayer, which is interesting. I'm not sure exactly what they're going to do with the multiplayer, because the one thing I respect about Nintendo, that I've always respected about Nintendo, is that whereas all other systems have pretty much done away with local multiplayer,
Nintendo still tries to encourage it as much as possible.
Yeah, they encourage it as much as possible, and they probably always will, so I support them heavily for that. I'm not sure if they're going to have that online drop-in, multiplayer with that, which would be a good addition, to be honest with you.
It'd be cool, but I can't really see it happening.
Yeah, I can't see them making that move. It would be a good decision, in my opinion, because not everybody has those local multiplayer. Hey, some of us have no friends. It happens. But it would. I think a drop in, a drop in online multiplayer feature would do it some good. But overall, I'm very excited for that game as well. All the characters are different. That's another thing I like about it, is that you're not just playing
just Mario
with different skins. Each character is actually different. Peach has her floating, Luigi has his really awkward Luigi jump.
No one ever likes the Luigi jump.
I like his Luigi jump. I just don't know what to call it. You can't really identify
I guess
it.
The Luigi jump.
Just the struggle jump.
The struggle jump.
Just struggling through the air, but also Toad, who with his super fast, running and whatnot.
It's basically Sonic. He's even blue.
Yeah, he's true. He is even blue. But they should just throw Sonic in there, just because. Like, hey, man, Sonic is in Mario Galaxy, currently, so we might as well just.
And then you know, Sonic Lost Worlds looks kind of like 3D Land. So,
have you looked at the actual official gameplay for Sonic Lost World?
All I've looked at is the stuff on the Nintendo Direct that they showed, which was like 10 seconds.
Yeah, see, you should actually watch the actual.
Keep in mind, I'm not like a diehard Sonic fan like you are.
I don't want to say I'm a diehard Sonic fan. I have high hopes for Sonic because I really, really loved Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, and I loved his old games, and Sonic is always, he's like, he's up there with Mario for me, you know what I mean? Like, Sonic's always just kind of
not anymore.
Not anymore, yeah. Sonic is no longer part of the big, up there with Mario.
Back in the day, they used to bump heads all the time. Now Sonic is just sucking Mario's dick all day.
Let's not put it that far, but I mean, the Mario is kind of, Sonic's kind of polishing Mario's boots at this point, so it's just like...
I mean, if he's down there, he might as well suck some D.
I'm not making Sonic do that, but Sonic...
I'm sure there's a fan fiction about it.
I hope not. I sincerely hope not. If I ever see that, I will find it and destroy it.
I'll look it up after this.
Please don't. I will find all Sonic and Mario fan fictions of erotica and destroy them. New mission in life.
So while we're on the topic of Mario, the Mario Kart 8 looks phenomenal, and I'm not even like a big fan of Mario Kart that much.
I'm not one of those huge Mario Kart advocates, but it looks great. It really looks amazing. The new features they've added to it, they're gonna have online. That's gonna be the one to get. I mean, it's gonna be one of their biggest guns, I think. All the things they've added, the anti-gravity.
The anti-gravity, multiple paths through the levels.
And
the levels look just ridiculously unique and fun to play on.
They all look great, and they're bringing back all the features. They're not like, all the features that were in every Mario Kart are going to be in this one. You have the motorcycles and the different kart types. The air gliding, driving underwater, all that. And then, as you said, we have the anti-gravity now. And the one thing I like about the different paths is that it's not just a shortcut, it looks like, you know what I mean? It actually is like an entire different path through the stage.
Yeah, it reminds me of the the new SSX levels.
Yeah.
To where there's not really like any shortcuts, it's just eight different paths through the level.
Yeah. Which is something that is great for any racing game, because it allows you to have that replayability within stages.
Yeah.
Mario Kart is definitely like day one get for me. Well, reserve, because if you don't, you won't get it probably. But
probably not.
Yeah, but that's definitely something that I'm interested in getting. I'm interested in seeing what new characters they're gonna introduce, because some people because that new Sega and Nintendo partnership, some people are pulling for Sonic in the new Mario Kart.
I wouldn't expect it. Sonic just released their Mario Kart game. Like Mario Kart game. like a couple months ago, or at the end of last year.
And it was Sega All Stars Racing, and and because Sonic's not on the front of that, yes, Sonic is the poster boy of Sega, but they can kind of have anyone in that. That's why they had so many different characters in that. Heck, Wreck-It Ralph, okay, and Danica Patrick, and
they have the Team Fortress 2 team on PC.
Yeah, they have all kinds of different characters in that, which is great. But I think because Mario Kart is Mario Kart, they're not going to.
He would probably fit into it more. I just don't think they'd put Sonic into a second kart game that soon.
I can see it though. I can see it happening. I don't think it will, because
I can see it happening. Yeah, I just can't. I just don't think it will happen.
Yeah, exactly. I can see it. I just don't think it necessarily will. A lot of people are pulling for it. Some people that I've been reading around are really saying, "Oh, I expect Sonic in the next Mario Kart game because of the new Sega and Nintendo partnership and things of that nature.
I also just think Mario in a car, or not Mario, Sonic in a car is retarded.
Makes no sense, yeah. Well, no, because he has to make it fair.
I guess, but he just run.
then it wouldn't be fair anymore.
I don't know. Don't give him a
just
cart then.
Attack everyone.
Don't
wreck everyone's cars.
Give him like rollerblades or something. Something that would kind of fit Sonic more than a car.
That's still his legs. That would still be extremely unfair.
Give him air gears. So that way
he like Shadow.
I guess, yeah.
That would be unfair too. Anything that involves his legs and the power of his legs is just completely unfair. Speaking of which, in Lost World, the kick attack, which I think is like a long time coming, it's like he has the strongest legs in the world because he can run that fast. Make him kick something. Like, he does nothing with his legs. You'd figure a Sonic kick would be brutal.
I don't know. Keep him with his headbutt. His dash and headbutt. That's a pretty badass move. Headbutts are pretty badass as they are, let alone a headbutt at supersonic speed.
Okay, well, you haven't seen the gameplay yet, but yeah, he has a kick. He has a kick now that he can use for stronger enemies, for enemies with like thicker armor, I guess. That it takes like a bit more than one homing attack for.
I see.
Which is interesting. I like that they not everything dies in one hit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Another thing, they've slowed Sonic down a little bit, which I think is another thing that was kind of a long time coming that really needed to happen with the franchise because, yes, in Generations, you go zoom zoom, but when you hit that wall, like, you're just like, oh.
Well, that's the problem, I think, is in Generations, they just shouldn't have had those walls. The ones that you have to, like, slide under that you can never see coming.
Yeah.
I feel like those are just absolutely pointless and do nothing but break the game.
But like another
it's just you're going so fast and you're like, oh, this is so fun, and then it's just instant, just going like 1,200 miles an hour to just 0.
Yeah, exactly. And that was one thing that a lot of people hated was like, I love going fast and then hitting that wall and just momentum going.
I want to see Sonic be going that fast, hit the wall, and like his body keeps running and his head is just gone.
It's gone, yeah, and just completely obliterated. Because that's basically what would happen, like moving that fast. But I kind of want to see Sonic just like quap, you know what I mean?
Sonic quap.
The best thing ever.
They need to make that. Fast. They need to release it on the eShop on the 3DS or something. That would be great.
Nintendo, you heard it here first. That was not free. Okay, that was not free.
It's a quap where you got to use the stylist and you got to like click and drag his legs.
Yeah, you have to do it super fast too.
That would be great. Oh my god.
Oh gosh, that would be priceless. But Sonic Lost World looks really good. I mean, there's some people who don't share in my enthusiasm for that game, but I just think there's so many things in that game that should have happened for a really long time. Like, one thing in Sonic Lost World is that they have the path system where there's a bunch of different paths through the stage. They've added that in. And
they've had that for years. They've had that since the first Sonic.
No.
Yes.
Eventually, you're on the same. Okay, you may go under or over, things of that nature, but eventually you're on the same road.
You should look at the hardcore people who are like hardcore in the Sonic, and they have like these big ass maps drawn out showing the different pathways, and they get like overly into it.
And like Sonic, for example, I've been playing through Sonic Colors recently, and like yes, they have some of that there, but it's just really, how do I say this? When you go in the recent Sonic games that I've played. And in Sonic Adventures, for example, they're more of shortcuts, you know what I mean, than different paths and such. And with that, the problem is that, like, if it's a straight line, let's say the levels are a straight line, okay? When it comes to most Sonic games and the different pathways, it's kind of a slight veer off the path. You know what I mean? You're still doing the exact same stuff, per se. When you're in Sonic Lost World, what I saw from the paths, like, depending on which rotation of the level that you decide to go down, it's an entirely different thing. Like, you may be running straight somewhere else, but if you go on the underside of the level, there's a bunch of walls with spikes you have to wall run, which may go into a complete speedway after that. It's that, and that spectrum, in that aspect, it's really different. I like to the extent that the different paths you can go are varied, is really what I meant. Again, the kick attack, which I like. The return of the color powers, which I like as well. You didn't play Sonic Colors, did you?
No. I tend to not play most Sonic games.
Well, I mean, Sonic Colors was really, it was good. There's just my main problem with Sonic Colors was one of the problems with most Sonic games is the fact that it had very little control when it came to, when you're already running and the things that you can do.
Oh my god, you're fucking dog.
I've been trying to talk loudly. I've been trying to talk over it. You know what I mean? Because there's someone in the next room sweeping, and then people up the door and things like that. I've been trying so hard to talk over it and make sure that the mic just picked me up. Sonic Colors, and that's another thing with Sonic games in general is that you have very little control while you're running. Literally, and I'll be playing Sonic Colors and I'll be running straight, and then I want to turn to the right and just a hard right or something, and he just slowly tilts to the right. It takes a full minute just for him to get to where I want him to go.
Because they want you to keep going in one general direction instead of pulling 180-degree turns on a dime, and then you just look retarded.
But you look so stupid when you try to have any measure of control in Sonic.
Because wasn't Sonic 06 like that, where you could turn on a dime and it was horrible?
We will not talk about Sonic 06.
No, you want to talk about turning. We'll talk about Sonic 06 where you turn on a dime.
We will not talk about Sonic 06. We will not. That's habit.
And you think you're going straight, and then you slightly turn your joystick to the left, and then you do 90-degree turn to a wall.
Okay. That's just Sonic 06 was it almost felt to me like they were trying to bring back Sonic Adventure and failed.
It was supposed to be a reboot of the series.
It was so bad. Have you seen footage?
I've played the game.
Oh, I feel bad for
That's why I'm talking about the controls. I have personal experience of how bad they are.
I refused.
One cannot talk about how bad the controls are in that game without experiencing them.
I couldn't. I picked up the controller and I saw what was ahead of me and I put it back down. I couldn't do it. But one thing that about Sonic Lost World is that basically there's 3 ranges of speed you go, and with those 3 ranges of speed, there's 3 different controls for it. Basically, when you're not pressing any buttons but you're just walking, he has a walk speed where he's kind of just jaunting. Okay, and when you hold down, I think the L trigger, he goes into run speed, into run mode, where he has that that nice figure 8 from the old Sonics, and then if you know the level really well, if you want to just blaze through everything, you want to go fast, then you hold down, I think, the R trigger, and then the oh-so-sacred spin dash is back, finally. And you can just spin dash and go really fast through everything and things like that. Then also the parkour system, running up things a little easier instead of having, they put the parkour system in there, for running on walls or running up trees and things like that. And so basically with the parkour system, they basically fixed the momentum break in the game, because you no longer just hit a wall and you're just well, damn.
Gotta start all over.
Yeah, exactly. When I hit a wall in Sonic Generations, I literally feel like starting over the entire stage. Because it breaks that much of the momentum. I'm just I don't want to play any more new stage. This never happened. It has to be one cohesive feeling with this level, and I'm not feeling it when I hit that wall. So the parkour system is really good. They added that in. And overall, I just think Sonic Lost World looks like it's going to be one of the best in the franchise so far.
It's not saying much.
Yeah, it kind of is. I mean...
No.
Hey, man, the daytime levels on Unleashed were great. And Sonic Colors is good-ish. And Generations was good. But here's the thing. Okay, but because they have those 2D moments in Sonic Lost World, but thank God they are not classic Sonic. There's classic Sonic is dead, and I'm glad that he's dead. Okay.
Everybody wanted classic Sonic, and then I played Sonic Generations, and I was like, why do you want classic Sonic?
Yeah, it's so bad.
I'm like, 2D Sonic is fine if it's modern Sonic, because he just has more moves.
Yeah, exactly.
You play classic Sonic, and you just feel gimped.
Yeah, you feel, yeah, exactly.
You're
feel so
playing
restricted.
as a one-legged Sonic.
Yeah. This is exactly how I feel though. Because it's just like you just feel completely like you feel like there's just been Sonic Kryptonite put in your shoes and you just can't do anything. Like you just can't. Like you just that one jump. You know what I mean? Like and when he had that very very slight double jump, you know what I mean? Like it was horrible. It was oh gosh, and they tried to reinstate like the old physics and all that, and I'm just no like. And there's so many people who still want that. People who still advocate, oh, it was good. I'm like, no, it wasn't good. Like it was good for its time, but now that you've had games like Sonic Adventure and the daytime levels in Sonic Generations,
now you had the homing attack and all that other stuff. It's just
it's like
wall jumping. You need that.
Yeah. Like, and that's another thing, the jumping attacks and the homing attacks in Lost World, they're no longer like hit a guy, hover for a few seconds, hit a guy, hover for a few seconds. I kind of hated that. Like how you had to sit there and just kind of hover because if you didn't click the button if you clicked the button too fast, the game would just not register the target, you know what I mean? And you just flip off somebody or somewhere else. So like now they're pretty much instantaneous. Like it's like one guy instead of like one guy hover.
Can we drop Sonic since
we can drop
Sonic was barely shown at Nintendo?
It's because you have not seen the footage. But what else did they show? Project X, as you call it, or Xenoblade, as I call it.
Xenoblade 2.
Yeah, Xenoblade 2. Probably the game I'm most hyped for this E3, or in general that I've seen this E3, aside from what we will talk about next, which I can't talk about now because this is not the Sony portion.
Yeah, just so you guys know, we haven't done the Sony one because it was so late last night and I just wanted to go to bed.
Yeah, me too. I was done after that. I couldn't process things after saying all that. But from Nintendo, my favorite game that they showed was without a doubt Xenoblade because I've already seen the previous footage from that. And I'm just a big fan of Monolith Soft and all that, and all the people that work there. What was your favorite out of all the games? And do not say Cat Mario.
I wasn't gonna say Cat Mario. I was just gonna say Smash Brothers. I'm a diehard Smash Brothers fan.
That Smash Bros trailer, that was
like I wasn't even impressed by the trailer, but just because it's Smash Brothers, I like it.
Really, I was somewhat impressed by the trailer. I saw Mega Man coming, but I didn't see him being the main poster boy of the newcomers. You know what I mean?
Kind of replacing Sonic from.
You don't think Sonic will be in this one?
No, I mean replacing Sonic from the last game where he was like a big poster boy of the newcomers.
Yeah.
Him and Snake. Probably Sonic more than Snake, honestly. I don't even know, honestly.
Will Snake even be in the next one? Will be in this one?
I'd imagine so.
I mean, if they already had him in one, there's no reason to bring him to the next. He just seems so out of place for me. Like, unless he's fighting Sheik, it just feels weird. Like, it's like Sonic fight. I mean, not Sonic. Snake fighting Mario just looks so out of place. But they probably have a very impressive roster, without a doubt. I am really looking forward to the new Fire Emblem characters that they're inevitably going to add. They're at least going to have Chrom from Awakening. If they don't replace, because you know how they replaced Roy with Ike. They're probably going to keep Marth.
They're probably going to keep Marth and Ike. Yeah, because Roy was just a copy of Marth, so there wasn't really a point of keeping him.
Yeah, I mean, he was heavier. He had, fire stuff.
It was a little bit, but I mean, to replace him with Ike, which is the same thing, but more heavier, more fire.
Yeah, a lot heavier, more fire. True. See, the thing is, what I can see them doing is leaving Ike in there and replacing Marth with Chrom, because essentially they are very similar. Like, Chrom, has the blue hair.
Yeah, they could do that.
Yeah, he's a quicker fighter. He doesn't have like a heavy, giant, great Godzilla smash sword like Ike. So I can see them replacing Marth with Chrom. which, to my opinion, would make a little bit more sense instead of adding 2 Marths essentially. But yeah, and Mega Man, I'm very excited to play as. I'm somewhat glad and somewhat not glad that they put in Retro Mega Man. You know what I mean?
I hope they have multiple costumes this time. I'd like to see that instead of different colors.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Pikachu has had multiple costumes through all the games because
different
colors they give him different hats
each color
and stuff.
was a different hat. Yeah.
So I mean, I know they can do it.
I agree.
I'm surprised the link they have. I'm surprised the link they have isn't the Skyward Sword link.
Yeah, I was very surprised at that as well. I was like, really? No Skyward Sword link? That's a bit odd.
Give me my poofy pants. I want my poofy pants.
Because they definitely had Pit from Uprising. If you looked at the attacks that he was using, the Uprising weapons. So I'm surprised that they didn't give you Skyward Sword link. I'm
curious if they'll have the one dude from Skyward Sword. The gay guy with the long tongue. The bad guy, his name escapes me right now for whatever reason.
I was thinking it was Girahim for a second, but it's not that. I actually want to look that up. Because I know it's not,
And there's like a handful of people watching this that are just screaming at the computer.
yeah, it was good. I knew I was right. But I think he may replace Ganondorf. Which I kind of don't want.
I would like them to keep Ganondorf, but maybe give him more diverse attacks. Like in Brawl, they gave him.
He was basically a really charged up Captain Falcon.
Well, he had a handful of like different moves, and he definitely fought a lot different than Captain Falcon, just because he was so much slower.
Yeah.
But I would like him to have more of his own moves.
Like, I want Girahim, but at the same time, I still want, like, if they replace, I don't want them to replace Ganondorf with Girahim. If you have to put Girahim in there, put him in there. But if you're going to take out Ganondorf, replace him for Demise, if anything.
Yeah.
I could see Demise. Demise would be a great, like, Bowser-esque, type of, like, evil boss character to throw in. I think Demise would be great. I think he'd be immensely overplayed, but I think he'd be great. But again, that would be weird without Skyward Sword Zelda, I suppose. You think go put in Toon Link back in?
Maybe.
I am iffy on what alternate versions of characters they'll put in this time. I think Paper Mario is somewhat of a possibility. They've had Dr. Mario. They've had...
Paper Mario would fight differently, though.
Yeah.
He would definitely fight because he'd be using the hammer and stuff.
Yeah, I think Paper Mario would actually be somewhat of a good choice. Star Fox will definitely keep it to Star Fox and Falco. I don't know who else you could throw in there. I kind of don't want to play as the frog and the rabbit, like, to be totally honest with
Slippy
you.
is the best.
Slippy is not the best.
Slippy is the best.
Like, Slippy, I don't see Slippy being in there. I don't. Like,
I want Slippy in there just so I can beat up Slippy.
Really?
I want to beat up Slippy so bad.
I can't see. Why do you want to beat up Slippy?
I want to punch that stupid frog in its face.
I can't see Slippy.
That whiny little bitch. Fox, help me!
I can't see Slippy being in there under any circumstances. Like, what would he do? Like, beat you with a wrench?
Be a failure.
Fox and Falco are super
Slippy
fast.
Slippy should replace the sandbag. His whole point in the game is to be beaten.
Yeah, just beat Slippy up. See how many combos you can get on Slippy. Knock Slippy far as you can. That would be great. All this Slippy hate though, like
nobody likes Slippy.
I don't know what they're gonna do with Star Fox franchise as a whole. Other characters that I could see being in Smash Bros. Though, I don't know who else they could put in that's like a direct, I mean, maybe Dixie. I mean, Dixie is in the new Donkey Kong.
They could.
I can see Dixie happening. That actually might happen. I'm not sure. I am still very positive that Shulk from Xenoblade Chronicles will be in. I'm almost positive that if it doesn't happen, he better be DLC at one point because, like,
no, there's not going to be DLC for Smash Bros. Nintendo's not going to do DLC anytime soon. They have the DLC for Super Mario Bros. U, but that's more of a new game.
Yeah,
because it changes everything.
It does change everything. That's very true.
It's not some DLC character, DLC map pack. It's you play as Luigi through the whole game with different levels.
And you have Luigi's struggle jump.
It's struggle jump.
So, which, I don't know, I'm kind of interested in playing that. I've always liked Luigi. But, I don't know. I could see them capitalizing on DLC for Super Smash Bros. Would it be tainting it a bit? Maybe. But, like, not like people wouldn't buy the characters.
It would depend on the price of the characters.
If there was any game that could pull off DLC characters
for Nintendo, yeah. But it would really depend on the price of the characters, though.
True. I mean, I can't.
If they're overpriced like in PlayStation All Stars, then no.
But Nintendo's not the type to even do that. Like, you know what I mean? Nintendo isn't the overpricing type of company.
No.
They make everything cheap as possible. So I really just can't see them doing that. I kind of want them to, not just because I want JRPG characters, but those non-cartoony characters that they can still have. And they've had a lot of JRPGs and such on the Wii that were really popular.
I still want Sora in it.
You do still want Sora in it? I don't see that happening. I truly don't. But I would love it to happen.
It's definitely possible, though.
Well, you could put Dream Drop Distance Sora in there and give him all kinds of light powers and make him cool with his keyboard and whatnot. I would enjoy that heavily. Do I think that's ever going to happen? Not ever.
Why not ever?
Final Fantasy was originally on Nintendo. We haven't seen one of those Negroes yet.
So?
I just don't see that. I see Neku from The World Ends With You. I could see that happening if they really were just reaching for characters. You know what I mean? Like if they were just
Neku would be badass to have.
Neku would be amazing to have. If they put Sora from Dream Drop Distance in, they are putting Neku in. And if they don't, I will literally call him up and be like, "Hey, what do you think you're doing? You think it's a game? You can just put Dream Drop Distance Sora in and not put Neku in? You already have the 3D models for him. Just upgrade him a little bit."
Right? Just take the model from the 3DS and then just slap it up into the Wii U game with some higher polygons.
You don't even have to hire the polygons. Just leave him in there like that. I would still praise him. Neku would be amazing for that game. And think about it. He already has all of his pins. He already has
he has plenty of attacks.
Just pick one from the game. You know what I mean?
Pick one of the 500 pins.
Thank you. Pick one exactly. Pick one of the 4 million attacks.
You could literally put them all on a piece of paper and just pick them randomly. It'd fit into the game.
Yeah, exactly. And any of the things that he had would work for Neku. So I think that Neku was an excellent choice. They have a lot of possibilities with Super Smash Brothers. What I really liked to see that they didn't ruin it by any means, though. You know what I mean? I was really thinking they might have changed a lot of stuff. To be honest with you, I was a little worried because I wasn't sure what they were going to change, how different it was going to look. But it still has that same Super Smash Brothers spirit, which I'm really glad about.
They would never change it.
Yeah, but you never know. You know what I mean? With next gen.
If they did, it would be like a spin-off game or something.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be of the main series. They might do some 3D one sometime, but it wouldn't replace the main games.
Yeah.
Unless it did unless it was more successful.
Yeah, true. I was really glad to see the 3DS version right alongside it too. It looks great. It looks phenomenal. Especially utilizing those 3D graphics and everything. And I think that playing that on I'm not sure how playing that in max 3D setting though is going to work. Like,
no.
That made exactly so much strain on the eyes. Like your eyes just start bleeding. Like I don't know if I could do that on max 3D setting. That's just too much.
Kid Icarus was pretty bad on max 3D setting just because of how much was going on. It was definitely
came out so far at you.
Definitely looked good, but
it looked. Kid Icarus Uprising was a beautiful game, but like if you had that 3D setting on max and you were in the sweet spot, it got kind of trippy after a while. It really did. Like, especially when you're doing so much and there's like, especially if you're online and everything's so fast paced and things are being fired at you and whatnot, and it gets really, really trippy. Like, and the 3D in that game works so well. Like, it's really just coming out there at you. And just like, I don't know if I can do this. It's really difficult. Like, it's really trippy and kind of just your eyes and things like that. But I don't think that I'll ever be able to play this on max 3D setting. I hope that the 3D for it looks wonderful. I just don't personally think that I can do it because
I probably won't even test it on 3D. I won't even attempt to put it on 3D.
Another thing I'm just really hoping for is that the online setup.
The reason I don't want to play it in 3D is because when someone hits you up into the sky and the guy bashes on the screen, that's gonna scare the crap out of me if it's in 3D. I will.
When the guy kills you and you hit up off the screen, yeah, true.
That will scare the piss out of me.
They might capitalize on that on the 3D version too. Just have them hit you directly out of the screen.
Oh God.
Just characters flying at you. Just a flaming Pikachu just bash against your screen through your screen.
Jesus.
I think how they did the graphics for it I think the game looks really just fantastic. Even the Nintendogs level, which I was like, why did you put that in?
I can see that level just full of just hazards from the Nintendogs just trying to kill everybody.
Exactly, just killer Nintendogs just everywhere.
They'll replace the Master Hand.
Yeah.
with just Nintendogs.
Speaking of replacing the Master Hand, I think that yellow glob giant beast at the end, whatever that was, it looks entirely familiar. I just can't think of it right now. Might be, that new boss.
I don't know. They might have a subspace emissary in it again.
Yeah. Another thing that I'm really hoping on is that
isn't that yellow thing from a Mega Man game though?
Are you sure?
I think it is. Otherwise, it would be really kind of weird to show it with Mega Man.
Very true. I'm watching the trailer again as we speak. I really thought the Smash Bros. Trailers were great. I thought I was very glad that it showed just the right amount of gameplay to really let you know like this is still Smash Brothers, so plays like Smash Brothers and looks like Smash Brothers, just better. Like
I wonder if people are gonna complain about it being after they balance the characters out again. Like people still say Melee's the best, and it's basically because they balanced out their favorite characters.
Yeah.
Like people were like, "Oh, Sheik was so badass in Melee, and then she's not as good in Brawl, so that's why Melee's a better game." I'm like, no, it's because Sheik was pretty OP in Melee.
Yeah, exactly.
I used Sheik. Sheik was my main in Melee, and she was pretty OP. That speed plus having that like average strength, just and that jump distance, it was just didn't balance out.
Yeah. There's just there's so many people like, oh, you like they'll show you a video of like two like complete OP master people at Melee. Like this is why Melee is better. I'm like, and you can't do that in Brawl? Like, no. Yeah, there's anything that you do in Melee, you can do in Brawl. Just all you gotta do, you always gotta do is just you turn certain settings off, turn the Smash pull off. You essentially have the same thing. I mean, yes, there are some things in Brawl that are a little askew, but it's not that much different from Melee that it makes Melee just
as I said, it's basically they balanced out some of the characters.
Yeah. But I just overall, because I mean, if you look at the games that I did not see A Link Between Worlds for during the presentation. Then again, I mean the 2 million people that were watching kind of ruined it with with their spamming the chat and just breaking the stream.
Yeah, I got like 5 frames when it started showing Brawl. Everyone started freaking out, and the stream just died. It just died a painful death for me.
Yeah. Another game on my top 5 for Nintendo, believe it or not, is The Wonderful 101. I have always, been very interested in The Wonderful 101 since it debuted.
It's definitely a unique concept.
Yeah, very neat concept. It's just like Pikmin on crack for me. It's like
basically.
It's like what it looks like to me, you know what I mean? It's just like it doesn't bother me that they purposefully didn't go with the overall best graphics ever for it. Like the game doesn't look bad by any means.
Just could be better.
The graphics. They could be better. But I feel like they were going for a certain style of the game, regardless. Then again, also at the same time, when you think of it, when has Platinum Games ever went with the best graphics they could possibly get? You know what I mean? Like, look at any of their games. Look at one of their newest titles, Anarchy Reigns. Things it doesn't look the best in environment and all that. But it still plays great.
Anarchy Reigns, Metal Gear Rising.
Yeah,
graphics in both those games are not impressive at all.
Oh, Metal Gear Rising.
No, the characters looked okay. The environments were horrible.
Yeah,
the environments were just ugly as hell.
That's what they always do. They always have the character models, pretty top notch, and the environments look like complete garbage. But the thing about Wonderful 101, they didn't necessarily do that because the environments look so simplistic.
I think they were going for like a clean, simplistic look for it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like the concept of Wonderful 101, how you turn these other heroes into
super weapons.
Yeah, and the super weapons, and the more heroes you use, the stronger and bigger the weapon is. I thought that was great. Like, I honestly did. And if I don't know how much of the gameplay you saw, but it looks like a lot of it's really skill based, and then for the bosses they have some of those quick time events, but nothing is that bad. You know what I mean?
Not as bad as Rise.
Nothing is as bad as Rise, and it just looks like a very skill based game, like how it just looks like a lot of cool stuff you can do. Like, for example, at one point in the trailer, it shows them like make a bat out of like a few heroes, and then the guy like shoots a spike ball at him and he hits it back at him, or how there's just a general power of Cobra. I think he's Unite Guts, and he shoots at him, turns to like a big gelatin ball, and just reflects back at him. And then immediately goes into a gun for shooting at him. Things like that. Like, I thought that was really cool. I think that the format of how you get new powers when you rack up experience points and buy them from the store was actually not a bad way to do it, because it allows them to add in new powers. You know what I mean? If they actually ever feel like expanding on the game, they have the choice to just, hey, download this and you have new powers, or here's some new ideas.
I guess, but I don't know.
I'm
not so sure about that.
I'm not expecting it, but I'm saying
I don't like the idea of game design choices to allow for DLC.
True, I don't knock you on that, but at the same time, I'm just saying it's an open possibility when you have something that opens.
I'm not gonna spend $1 so that I can have a machine gun made out of people.
I'm not okay, but like at the same time, like the way I think of it, this, like for example, with Fire Emblem, okay, Awakening for the 3DS. There's a lot of free DLC, and there's a lot of free weapons and items and characters and armies and maps, but then there's certain stuff you want to pay for too. Nintendo is fine with giving people things for free though. Like, Nintendo has put out plenty of just patches or new stuff you can download for something that you don't have to pay anything for. They've done that, so it's just like, I don't know, it's not something that I necessarily expect, but it's something that seems like something that is at the very least possible for the Wii U and for some of these titles. But I'm very excited for Wonderful 101. I didn't see any of Yoshi's Epic Yarn, which I kind of wanted to see more of.
And you're also excited for Bayonetta 2, right?
I am very excited for Bayonetta 2. The first one was some of the best action I have really ever played. The story haunted my dreams because it was just so bad. Like the story, like I don't want to say it was utterly terrible. Like, but like the story and I think it was more of the dialogue than the actual story. To be honest with you, the story wasn't like horrid. I think it was just the dialogue in English that killed me. Like,
it wasn't even trying to be serious though.
Yeah, I know, but it was still just like a little painful. Like the fact that the game itself wasn't taking itself seriously was the cushion to some of that horrendous dialogue, and that's what kind of alleviates that slight twitch in my eye when they start speaking. But like. I'm extremely excited for the next one. There's
that new Bayonetta design is awesome.
Yeah, the new Bayonetta design.
But then again, I totally have a thing for chicks with short hair.
No, I think she looks a lot better.
Less nunny and more.
Yeah.
Of an actual person.
Yeah.
Not implying that nuns are not people, but
they're just,
you know what I mean.
The other one, yeah, in the other one, she had like I don't know what was going on with her hair. Like
they were like just going for the nun MILF thing.
Yeah,
there's
exactly.
no other reason for that character design.
Yeah, I just didn't understand. And this one, she looks a lot better. That didn't get to the end of the last one, so it's just like I'm not sure if the demon that she's using now is new. I'm not sure. What's really going on there. But my question about that is because I didn't get the chance to finish the last one, even though I got fairly far, is what are they going to do in this one to make sure that your audience is aware of what's going on and your audience can, come into this new chapter of the game, without having to go buy the old one or having to look it all up online. You know what I mean?
Well,
like you certainly are not going to get the first game. Like, or they would have said that by now.
It probably won't be like a direct sequel, but kind of its own personal story.
You think so? You don't think they're going to say anything about the first one?
They'll probably have references, but nothing like too serious. It's like the Devil May Cry series, like the old series. You can pick up any of the games and play it in its own personal story, and you don't have to know anything about the previous games.
That's very true. I mean, although this one, I don't know. It does look a little bit. It looks a lot like it's a lot more like a continuation. You know what I mean? Just like, have you played the first one?
I went over to my buddy's house once, and I played for like 5 minutes of the intro, and then he was like, "Oh, I gotta finish this boss battle," and he's stuck on the boss battle, and I beat it for him. Because apparently he sucks at video games. Because apparently with my 5 minutes of experience playing the game, I could beat the boss for him.
That's kind of sad.
Yeah, that's as much as I played of it. I've been wanting to play for a long time, just never got around to it.
Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not sure how much of, what they're going to do to, kind of make people feel like it's completely okay to play this one without any, knowledge of the first. But regardless, I'm getting it because it looks great. And the first one was, again, like I had that Devil May Cry biasness in me, you know what I mean? Like, oh, she's not as good as Dante, like, type of feeling. But I played it and I was like, dang, like, this is actually a lot better played than Devil May Cry. So it was really good, and I'm actually very excited to put this for the Wii U. I'm glad that it's, and I love how the thing is, like, at the end of the trailer, how they just drove in the nail of that this is only on Wii U and will only be on Wii U.
Yeah,
like you say. Like, because there's so many people who are complaining.
You gonna cry about it? Oh well.
Yeah, and just like, people don't get it. Like, hey, if Nintendo didn't come and dig this game up from the grave,
it wouldn't have been made.
It wouldn't exist. So it's just like Sony and Microsoft had their chance at Bayonetta. You know what I mean? And Bayonetta will probably just stay home on the Wii U forever now. I mean, in my opinion, I can't see Sega and Platinum Games, taking this new game anywhere else. Even though, I bet you that Sony and everything else really wishes that they would have, pulled in and, did what Nintendo did, and pulled it out of the grave, but they didn't. So it's just like I don't know what to tell all those angry fans out there. It's just like people hate on Nintendo. It's like just get a Wii U if you want to play it. It's like there's so many good games that will be on the Wii U. There's like no excuse not to have one.
Yeah, people just talk about it like it's like the worst thing ever created.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Well, I guess people aren't saying that anymore. They're saying that about the Xbox One.
Yeah, exactly. They just kind of
as you call it, the one.
The don't. I didn't say that.
The one.
Everybody. I can't believe that. Like, I was like, I can't really call it that. Like, I immediately just had to.
You
just, like,
referred to the Xbox as the one, like it was Neo.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, it's not Neo. It can't save anything. It is Smith. It will only die.
The one.
Yeah, I was like, oh, the one will have it. It's like, oh no, I didn't just call it that. Gosh, like when it comes to the console war, like when it comes to E3 overall, Sony won.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a couple minutes.
We'll get to that. But Nintendo, to me, like it did what it needed to do. You know what I mean?
It does what Nintendo does. It just does what it needs to do for itself, regardless of what anybody else does.
Exactly. And people say, oh, no, I think Sony, then Microsoft, then Nintendo. I'm like, no, here's why. That's not true. Because the reason why Microsoft failed is because the entire time it was directly trying to butt heads with Sony. It was directly trying to compete with Sony. It always has been competing with Sony. Everybody's always just, two bulls locking their horns. That's always been Sony and Nintendo bumping heads. And that's why that... And Sony... Microsoft got A-Town stomped, okay?
Sony was like, we're tired of your bullshit, Microsoft. We're pulling out all the guns now.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll talk about that in a second, but Nintendo is just watching them
after the GameCube, Nintendo decided to just do its own thing.
Yeah, Nintendo
They're not really trying to compete.
That fight. Nintendo is kind of watching from the sidelines with popcorn and a Slurpee, like...
Like, yo, this is cool.
This is a great fight. Like that's what Nintendo does. Like Nintendo came out here to accomplish what it needed to accomplish, and what it did is it reassured you that there are many great titles coming to the systems that you own, and it lets you know, like, hey, Pikmin 3 is going to be out there, and then you have Zelda for your 3DS to tie you over, and Pokemon X and Y. Which I'm not even a huge Pokemon guy, but the fact that I was an avid Pokemon player throughout my childhood, and
I mean the Pokemon games are always fun to play. They're always worth picking up.
And aside from the childhood thing, I like RPGs. When you really get down to the nitty gritty of it, Pokemon is one of the most complex RPGs out there.
I mean, it's not the most complex, but it's because it has the whole elemental thing going with it.
Yeah, it's
one of the most
thorough RPGs out there. Yeah. It's definitely one of the most thorough RPGs out there, and there's a lot of stuff about it that it's a good RPG, and it's finally 3D. I can't disrespect that and not get the game. I'm definitely going to be getting Pokemon Y for my 3DS, and then you have Donkey Kong Country, Tropical Freeze, for all those fans out there, and I'll probably get it too. Just because platformers are good games to play in between your between your RPGs or your shooters or some of your other really hardcore games. Yoshi's Island, New Island, I'll definitely get for my 3DS. I've been playing it on Nintendo lately. Super Smash Brothers, every one of their mother will get, regardless. The Wonderful 101 is another title that's going to bring in a lot of sales. I'm going to buy that. Mario Kart 8 is something that will probably be sold out for months. So, like, Mario Kart 8 looks amazing, and I'm definitely picking that up. Then you have Sonic Lost World, which is coming out this year. Project X is coming out next year. Then you have Super Mario 3D World, which is November. Not to mention Bayonetta next year. The Wind Waker HD remake, and then all of their third-party support that's coming. This and next year. Nintendo can kind of kick back as their games do the work for them. As they start to.
Yeah, that's the thing with Nintendo consoles, is that the games Nintendo makes will always bring people to Nintendo consoles.
Exactly.
Always. Because they're always AAA games.
Yeah. And that's the point, is that, like,
the only bad Nintendo game I can think of from last gen was Wii Music. That's the only one I can think of.
I
the other ones were great successes.
really wish that we could just edit in the clip of the guy. Just nunchuck and remote just going hard trying to jump
I
over
could
the
edit it, but I mean, this is more of a thing to listen to than to watch.
Yeah. I really wish we could just put in the clip there, but there's plenty, like all the games, and one I forgot from the 3DS, Mario and Luigi Dream Team. I'll probably buy that because I was a big fan of the Mario RPGs that were out there.
Yeah,
you know
Dream Team looks really cool.
Dream Team does look really cool, and there's a lot to. It looks like there's a lot of different stuff you can do in that game. It looks great, so I'm definitely gonna pick that up as well. I don't have enough money, okay, to buy all of the Nintendo games that I want. You know what I mean? So it's just like, and there are people who are gonna buy every single one of these titles. You know what I mean? Most of these titles are must-haves. So it's just like Nintendo's doing fine. Yes, they have some games that probably won't sell all that much, like Disney's Planes. Okay, and like yes, they have
Disney's
that,
Planes.
Okay? They have Disney's Planes. You know, they have, the Scribblenauts Unmatched. That people actually like Scribblenauts though, so I'm not gonna knock Scribblenauts.
I just like solving all my problems in Scribblenauts with panties. Panties are awesome, and they solve everything in Scribblenauts.
They have, Disney Infinity, and they have Wii Party U and things like that. Granted, they have those Cloudberry Kingdom games, but at the same time,
I'm really hoping Wii Party doesn't replace Mario Party, because it looks.
Mario Party will always be there.
I just hope it's not like 9.
Mario Party ruins friendships. Like
that's the whole fun thing about it. Is ruining
Mario
friendships.
Party. I'm pretty sure that I'm pretty sure. I can't even say this because it's such a. That's actually kind of some anti-Semitism. I'm not gonna say that, but anyways, I'm not gonna say that. But I'm pretty sure that most.
You have no idea how many people I've called Jews in Mario Party.
Really?
Anytime they steal money from me or steal my stars, I just call them Jews. Every single time.
Oh, gosh,
It's greedy Jews.
Oh gosh, I'm decently sure that just 90% of inner family feuds have started with Mario Party. Mario Party and Mario Kart.
Something as simple as Mario Party
exactly
has caused families to break apart, caused people to become alcoholics, and made people go to jail for murdering their wives.
Dude, I'm pretty sure that the Capulets and the Montagues. Telling you, man, Mario Party. Okay, I'm telling you, Mario Party or Mario Kart, it was one of them. I'm telling you, man, Romeo threw that blue shell.
and just everybody flipped shit.
Somebody threw that winged blue shell and it was over from there.
Oh my god.
That's what happened. That's the story I'm sticking with. That's the one Shakespeare just didn't write in. He had to flip it. I'm looking forward to those games. Mario Kart especially. Mario Kart 8, I hope they don't have voice chat. I hope they don't. Because that blue shell, when it flies, just all of the vulgarity.
No, because of that, I hope it has voice chat.
Oh,
they have the mic right on the controller, so I really hope they have voice chat. Just the blue shell flies, and just immediately everybody's a nigger.
Exactly.
Just
as
immediately.
Soon as that blue shell flies, everyone's a nigger. That's basically how it works. Oh gosh, it's gonna be worse than Call of Duty, and we all know that nothing is as bad as Call of Duty community. I've heard words from 12-year-olds on Call of Duty Online that I didn't even think of myself. I'm 21 years old. I've never heard the kind of vulgarity that I've heard on Call of Duty Online. I don't think I ever will in any game except for Mario Kart Online.
Alright, so let's wrap this up. The only thing we haven't really discussed at all is the Wind Waker remake.
Which I didn't think you wanted to, because I know that you're not a fan of it.
No, I'm honestly not. I think the new HD graphics kind of killed the art style of the original.
You think it killed the cell shaded? I I don't agree because like originally, like I was looking at it and they looked a bit more bulgy and just how they looked was kind of.
It looks exactly the same.
No, I don't think it does.
Yes, it does.
No, I don't think it does. I don't think it looks exactly the same from how it was originally. I don't. I think that, now that I'm actually seeing it and looking at it, I think that overall, I don't think it kills the cell shading too much.
I don't think it needed an HD version. I think it could have used like a digital download port, and like that would have been fine. I think the graphics of the original still to this day are some of the prettiest graphics I've seen, just because of how the art style is.
Right now, not HD, just Wind Waker.
I have the case.
I know you have the case.
It's on my desk right now because I was looking at it earlier.
Okay, this is not the remake. This is the normal one. Okay, I'm looking at it. Not the Wii U. We just put these side to side and just compare these. Like, I see some of what you mean. Like, I see your point, but I still don't think it kills.
Specifically, the lighting. Yeah, specifically, true. Like it specifically dulls the color. It makes all the characters look too three-dimensional, which takes away from the cell shading look.
I see what you mean. That being said, I don't think it completely just kills. You know what I mean? The graphics that were there before. I don't think that it ruins that to the point of not playing it. I don't think that they've ruined it that much. Like, I see what you mean, how it feels like it just takes away from a little bit of the cell shading, but I don't think that's like 100%, oh, they just destroyed the cell shading.
Yeah, I think they destroyed it. I would have been happy with a port. Digital download port, that would have been fine. I would have downloaded it too. Because I still have my GameCube version, but my Wii's disc drive doesn't work.
Honestly, I kind of wish that the graphics for Wind Waker were a bit more like the concept art. Like, I don't know if you've seen, like, the really cartooniness of the... I mean, and they achieved that, but I feel like... Because the graphics of the concept art were a little bit more like Okami.
Oh, the original original concept art? Yeah.
It was a little bit more like Okami. I think I actually would have liked to see that a bit more than both, period. I think that would have been great. But I will still end up getting, the Wind Waker regardless. I need something to time me over until that next Zelda. And there's no other option. So the Wind Waker is pretty much where it's at for me at this point. Although I think that if a Nintendo person ever ends up listening to this, take my advice. Whoever did the art style for Okami, hire him and get him to make your next Zelda game.
I don't know if it'd look good in a Zelda game. I would still like to see like a Middle Eastern Zelda game.
Oh, when we talked about it,
yeah. Yeah, I'd still like to see a Middle Eastern Zelda game.
Where he's kind of...
where Link isn't a Highland, but he's like a Gerudo, and he has to like take over Ganon's rule, since the Gerudos are only born every 100 years or whatever. Yeah, and Ganon never dies.
Ganon, who knows?
So he would be like he'd be like the Gerudo male born of that generation, and then he has to like usurp Ganon. I don't want to see it in the desert. They can still have Epona in it because horses are fantastic at running in deserts somehow. I don't understand. I don't understand the concept of hooves going into sand where you would expect them to sink in, but they don't. But it works.
Yeah, exactly.
Fantastic.
Exactly, it works really well.
I would like to see like the Master Sword like
look like
a scimitar. I think that would be really cool.
Or just something completely different. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, something that would like really change like the if you first saw it, you might not expect it to be a Zelda game.
Yeah, I would really like but you do understand, like, we're gonna have that with that. You do understand what's going to happen, right? America is going to happen. You're immediately going to have that Spider-Man might be black in the next movie type of reaction. And it's seriously, when Donald Glover was about to play Spider-Man, it was just white people were up in arms. So it's just like, I would love for Link to take that turn. I just don't think he ever will, because
he probably wouldn't, but I still think it'd be a really cool concept to see.
It would be. I would love if we could just do a spin-off.
Somebody make a fan-made game about it.
Yeah, somebody out there, since we don't know how at this point in time, just do it for us and give us some more credit. Because a Gerudo Link would be great. You know,
Yeah,
like
if he had tan skin with black hair and
exactly
had more kind of like Middle Eastern style clothing instead of a basic tunic.
Exactly. It'd be like, yeah, but a little bit more robish, you know, like a little more.
I mean, he doesn't need like a turban or anything.
Yeah,
but
no, you give him. I mean, if you give him a hat, maybe don't even give him a hat. Just give him somewhat of a pointy hood. Not like KKK. Pointy
if they give him a hood, that would be cool.
Yeah, just give him a hood. Like a hood would be great. That would be awesome. Give him like a somewhat of a cloak, you know, robe, Middle Eastern type of, you know.
They could ditch the shield.
Give him a hood.
They could ditch the shield.
Ditch the shield. I mean,
I think a scimitar with a shield looks weird.
I mean, if you have a buckler, you know, like a round shield.
Yeah.
Like, or they could change the shield shape too. You know, like what shields did they use with, you know, scimitars? You know, you could just change stuff. You know, like I would love to see
if they made Link look like the Prince of Persia from the 2006 Prince of Persia. Then that would be pretty badass.
Yeah.
Thing with that kind of style.
Yeah. You know, just they could. You know, there's a lot of stuff that they could do with it. You know, like there's just certain special shields that, like, you know, like that they use scimitars that would actually hold a sword. You know what I mean? That could be both a shield and a holster. So just different things that they could do. I'm not feeling Thundercats-ish, but still, like, there's different things that they could do.
I would like to see him with like a cloak with a hood though. That would be cool as shit looking.
Yeah, and just be like a Gerudo. Doesn't even have to have black hair. Just give him red hair like Ganon. I don't care. And he just you know, I'm fine with Link being Hylian and everything, and we all love Link, we all love Zelda, we all love Sheik and all them. But you know,
regardless of what the next Zelda game is, I'm still gonna buy the shit out of it.
Oh, of course,
But I would like to see something that's like really drastically different in like concept. Yeah. Even if they kept the same like 7 dungeon layout thing.
Agreed.
If they changed like the environments drastically, because like, I mean, Wind Waker changed the environments drastically, and that was a great game, and people loved the environments in that.
Exactly, and you know, and I like the way that Wind Waker, you had a hub world, you know, type of thing, but everything was covered by clouds, and you didn't really need to have that one big cohesive open world experience, because when you dropped through, everything was a different environment regardless, and it was all, you know, I like the hub world, and I like how everything went with that. You don't have to give him a bird or anything like that. You can give him a horse again, but I just would kind of like
if they did give him like a companion, if it was like a hawk or something, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
if it was like a mystical
hawk. I'm kind
of
wondering why Link doesn't have, you know, anything else. Like, I feel like Link is good for like a hawk or something like that. You know what I mean? I feel like or like a hunting dog or a wolf, or it's just something. You know what I mean? I feel like Link could do with like an extra companion. But yeah, I would like to see some drastic changes in the Zelda franchise, just because I think that.
They can keep the gameplay the same. I don't care. I just kind of want to see a big change in the story and environments, because Wind Waker had that big change, Skyward Sword had that big change, and those are two of my, you know, favorite Zelda games.
Yeah.
And they drastically changed how everything was.
Yeah. And
so I'd like to see them do that again, and I generally just think a cool desert design would be cool.
Yeah, I think it'd be great too. I just can't see them doing that. I think that if anything, they'll change the gameplay before they actually change the environment. Even though I think it needs to be vice versa, in order to, you know, really achieve something different with the franchise, because no one's ever gonna get tired of Link. It's just that at the same time, I would like to see.
He still has this basic look in every single game.
Yeah.
Of the green hood and the green tunic and the white pants and the boots and the gloves and the blonde hair and
yeah, I
understand he's supposed to be like a hero reborn over time and stuff like that, and how the tunic has a big symbolism. If you play Skyward Sword, they kind of show you like how the tunic became symbolic.
The tunic became,
but
exactly.
It's just like his character design has never ever changed
that far. Yeah, I think he looked best in Skyward Sword, to be honest with you. Like, he looked less just typical
because
white
the puffy
elf.
pants.
Well, I think he looked a little less typical white elf and had some characteristics from each different race, and therefore made him look like an actual fantasy race. You know what I mean?
Yeah, his face was even changed in Skyward Sword too.
Yeah, exactly. And I like that. I like that he looked like his own race of person. Like, you know what I mean? That's I like that about the way he looked in Skyward Sword. So I hope they continue that. I believe they said that the new Zelda Link's character will look, the graphics will look more like Skyward Swords than anything.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm perfect.
I wasn't sure about Skyward Sword's graphics at first because it was like a mixture between like Twilight Princess and Wind Waker. But when I actually started playing the game, I actually started to really like the graphics.
I thought those were perfect for it.
When I first saw them, I didn't like them at all, but then they grew on me. Same thing with Wind Waker did that though.
That's pretty much.
Wind Waker did that with everybody though. Nobody liked the cel shaded style, and then over time when they actually play the game, they're like, "This is really, really pretty."
Yeah, everything Nintendo pretty much does that is, it starts out one way and you're like, I don't know about this. This isn't what I'm used to, and
Nintendo, what the fuck are you doing? And then they play and you're like, oh, Nintendo, you know what you're doing.
Right? Exactly. That's pretty much how it is. Like every game that they make. So I'm fine with whatever they do. To be honest with you, Nintendo can take all the creative liberties it wants because it always ends up well.
Alright, so should we close the close on the Nintendo?
I think that we've covered just about everything. We've been extensively into some different stuff. I mean, do you have anything to say about their third-party titles or their indies?
I mean, the indies didn't look that impressive, and the third parties were on everything else as well.
It's exactly. That's kind of my thing. Was like their third parties. What I really want to see from their third parties is some third-party exclusives. You know what I mean? Some third-party stuff that really kind of invests in the Wii U and in Nintendo. Because Deus Ex Human Revolution Director's Cut isn't really doing it for me. Like that game came out like a while ago. Well, I never beat it, so will I get it on the Wii U? That's a possibility. But as for everything else, like I will probably just end up buying it for a different system.
Yeah, I can't see the controller changing the gameplay that drastically enough to buy it for the Wii U.
Like Splinter Cell Blacklist, for example. That's not coming to my Wii U, probably. Rayman Legends, however, probably will. Because Rayman Legends is actually going to have some differences with...
Oh yeah, the Wii U is the main system for it, right?
But yeah, the Wii U, I believe, is the main system for it. So that's why I'm definitely going to be getting that, even though it's multi-platform. As for everything else, not so much.
There's Batman, which is going to be on everything.
Yeah.
There's Assassin's Creed 4, which I'm unsure if I'm even gonna play it.
Yeah,
I'm kind of tired of the Assassin's Creed franchise.
That's because like it hasn't done anything so drastically new that I'm like, wow, I need to test that out. It's a great concept. I
mean, the story is just utter shit. Desmond's story turned out to be pretty shitty. I mean, you haven't beaten 3 yet. But Desmond's story turned out to be pretty shitty.
I get really far in every single one and then I stop. Seriously.
And then Connor's story was Connor is the weakest of the 3 assassins shown so far. Well, I haven't played as the black chick yet. It's not even. I mean, like I'm Native American. I love the idea of playing as a Native American assassin. I thought that was awesome. Generally, as a character, he's just an asshole, though.
Really?
Yeah, like he's just like an asshole. There's nothing much I can say about it.
Wow. Sometimes
he's like, oh, well, we should help those people and blah, 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 and we should help those people because we're assassins, and other people are like, no, we have to let it go. We can't, be causing too much attention right now. And he's like, oh, against that. And then there's one guy who, like, takes him in when his parents are killed and trains him to be an assassin and gives him a place to stay and all this other stuff. And he's just a total dick to the guy. And I'm like, this dude gave you everything you have. And you're a dick to him, but then you try to be a good person out in the town and save everybody. I'm like, your character's so ass backwards. Or like when he's like helping George Washington, George Washington's like, oh, well, we gotta fight the British, and then their leader's a Templar, so you can go and kill him. And he was like, fine, but I'm not helping you anymore. And I'm like, why? He's helping you out and all this other shit, and then this one time he asked you for help, in which you were gonna kill this guy anyways. And you're just, like, throwing up a fit about it.
See, every time I read, like every time I look more up about like Assassin's Creed, and I look at like I can't read the DLC right. Every single time I say every time I read it, I see the tranny of George Washington, and I'm just like, why does this keep happening to me? Like I ruin it every single time, without fail. I will literally look at it and be like, the tyranny, but when I say it, I'm like the tranny of George Washington, and I'm not playing that fucking game.
That would be a really interesting DLC.
I can never read it right. I don't know why. Assassin's Creed is just one of those franchises that it's always going to be multi-platform and it's always going to have its fan base. But I started out as a really big Assassin's Creed fan on 1 and 2, and then beyond that, I was kind of like, all right.
After 1 and 2, I kind of lost interest.
Yeah.
Revelations was kind of cool because they had old Altair in it, and old Altair was like one of the coolest characters in the franchise. Besides young Ezio. As Ezio got older, I didn't like him as much. I liked him when he was really young and reckless and stuff. Yeah, and then as he got older, he was like all strategic and wise, and I was like, you're not as cool anymore. I'm like, now you're trying to pull off like that Batman kind of thing, but you're an assassin and not Batman?
Oh gosh. I don't know, Assassin's Creed, it's definitely something that's not going to be coming to my Wii U most likely, just because I've just become kind of disenchanted with the franchise. But overall, I mean, the Wii U third-party stuff, I kind of want to see them, like for example, I want to see something that I really care about on the Wii U, or something exclusive. Like, if it's not something that's like one of those big name, third parties, or if it's not something that I specifically care about, then I don't really know how I feel about the third party support. I'm glad that they're getting third party support.
Yeah, it's good they're getting it, but
aside from like
nothing
Atlas
special.
Yeah, aside from like their third party 3DS support with Shin Megami Tensei 4, which I've already pre-ordered my special edition. I'm getting it. So very excited for that game. Beyond Atlas and a few other, and Platinum, you know what I mean, and a few other studios, I'm not too, hugely excited for that for anything that they're really offering with their third parties. That's just me though.
All right, well, I think that wraps up our Nintendo discussion.